All right, everybody, I'm going to get started. Today is not the CRM training. Today is going to be just listing stuff. It's nothing that you don't know that we already do. It's basically just I wanted to run through all of the listing marketing options you have so that you're aware. Give you some. I can't hear myself, Maria. Maria, I can't hear myself speak. I started. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just trying to keep my train of thought. Okay, so it's something that you don't know we already do. I just wanted to kind of give you Selena, I can't hear myself speak either. I'm really easily distracted today, so I'm having a hard time concentrating with all the noise. Okay, so I'm giving y'all a brief run through of all of the stuff that we can help you do, but just so you understand the general process, basically. Some of it you'll be perfectly comfortable going and doing self-service. My goal in doing this sort of stuff is in recording it and kind of going through the general steps. We'll break it out in little segments and then post this to today Backagent, but in the future, this little, kind of resource wiki or whatever, whenever you have a listing so that you can go back and reference, okay? So let's just start. These are in no particular order. Let's just start with virtual staging. I know some of you have done virtual staging already. Lauren just did one for her listing on Yale, right? The vendor that we like today for virtual staging is one called Retouching Pros. Rhonda's had a good experience with them. Holly's had a good experience. That's who you used to.
That's Retouching Pros?
With an S.
Pro.
Yeah.
One of each.
Yes, exactly.
S.
They do the same thing?
We're talking about the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Retouching Pros with an S is the one we like. So we have this one for Bill's listing right here. 306 Aurora. So just to kind of give you a breakdown of their services, there's 3 basic options you have for whenever you have this listing. I guess they made it 4. Virtual staging is just furniture. It's the one you probably use the most, yeah. Virtual painting is what it sounds like. Virtual decluttering is removing some or all furniture, which isn't possible for every listing. Do
they have any examples of that?
They do, I think, but I can also show you one that they did for Holly's. We'll use that one as an example because I can show you what they took out or whatever. And they have the scroll. We'll look at that too. The virtual redecorating is doing everything. Staging, painting, and decluttering. So I really like this option. This is the most expensive it ever gets, and that's $60 a photo. If you go and set up your own account, you get 15% off, which is pretty good. I think Holly did 3 photos recently for Bill's job. We did 5 photos or whatever. So yeah,
I did that for my 1405 West 26. That's where I actually took out countertops and replaced them with quartz and replaced the black and white appliances with stainless steel.
Okay, how does Harv feel about that?
You have to just say it.
You just got to say.
You just have to say that's what you guys say.
Yeah.
If you don't say, you get fined or you get deemed
Right.
a violation.
Okay, let me find that. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. You have to say something to the effect of virtual rendering, virtual staging, whatever. And nobody says you have to do this, but it helps to put up the real pictures too. We haven't had side by side, we haven't had a situation where somebody is seen a virtually staged house and walked in and had a negative reaction, but I just think it's probably a good thing to do. And who knows, maybe what they choose just isn't to somebody's taste, right? So here's a good virtual redecorating example. So we had this house on 14th Street of Holly's, and we wanted to take out the TV and we wanted to take out this dining room table. And so this is the end result or whatever. They took out this kitchen table and replaced it with this one, took out the TV, replaced it with this art. Whenever they say, redecorating, that means walls, floors, light fixtures. They could have changed the finish on this cabinet if we had wanted them to. And then obviously they just add in the furniture or whatever. They do it for you. But I'm going to tell you exactly, if you go in and you want to use your 15% off or whatever. So this right here, you do give them instructions, and you can upload photos from House as inspiration, or you can upload other photos of furniture you want. I want to go with this look, Pottery Barn, yeah.
And those kind of things. One of the reasons why I like this one the most is because you get to tell them the most about what it is that you want to do.
What is that we want in preservation power?
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll get like a link to lay up. I used a.
It is so tedious. It's so time consuming.
Your time is worth more than what it.
I would think so, yeah. And we've tried doing it ourselves. We're just not that good at it. And so I think it's worth the investment to do it with something like a Retouching Pros.
20 to 50 to 60 bucks for a photo versus you spend an hour on it, your time is worth it.
Yeah, I would think so. So here's an example of what Maria gave them as direction for 306 Aurora. She uploaded some reference photo here. I guess it's this. Let's look at, because I liked, I like this one here for the master. So she said, the master bedroom's really spacious. We want to show that there's a lot of room, telling them not to put too much crap in there. The overall feel is elegant, cozy with a neutral color palette, diverse textures and finishes, include matching nightstands with lamps on each side of the bed, a rug, a bench, and a plant in the corner. That's exactly what she told them to do. This is where we started. This is where we landed. I think they followed direction pretty well. And then the great thing about Retouching Pros, I think Box Brownies like this too, is you have these rounds of revisions you can go through, right? And so you tell them, hey, I really like it, but I don't like the rug, blah, blah, blah. I always have issues with the art that they choose. And so you can tell them to swap it out for art or whatever. Like Rhonda said, you can give them a specific. So most of these places, Wayfair, Pottery Barn, Crate and Barrel, they actually now provide all of their products to these virtual staging companies so that they can use their real products, and it's like product placement. So those are the ones that I know for sure. Wayfair, if you go to Wayfair and find a piece that you really like or whatever, you can have them put that exact piece in there. Anyway, so this is virtual staging, the whole, like I said, redecorating, painting, everything like that, $60. Great investment. There is Box Brownie too. I've never used Box Brownie. You have, right?
I have.
And you ended up restaging it with this other one, right?
No, I think I can't remember who I used Box Brownie on, but I think I ended up doing a combination. I think I used Box Brownie to put some furniture and do some of the virtual staging, and then I used Retouching Pros because I wanted to do more.
Right.
And I like the interaction that I was able to do. Box Brownie is my second favorite.
Box Brownie also does, so Retouching Pros is just for virtual staging, redecorating, decluttering, painting, all that sort of stuff. But Box Brownie will also make it into a nighttime photo, make the grass greener, just a, whatever, like a TK Images sort of job on your photos. I guess let's go look at Box Brownie then. Why not? Boxbrownie.com. I still don't know where the name comes from. Oh, I get it now. Like a camera. I get it now. Okay.
Kodak made a camera called the Brownie.
I get it.
Before your time.
I get it now. Day to Dusk is just, they say $4, but that's just kind of where they start. But they do this sort of stuff. This is basically what TK Images does. Mike Wilcox does this too with his photos. He's not great at it. TK Images is much better, but they all sort of do this now. These, photographers like TK Images, they just cut out the sky, and that's not really a sky that we had in the Heights that day. Like they just replace it with something else. You'll see it's not even the clouds are the same or whatever. So perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable thing to do. So this is Box Brownie. They have more options for you. They'll just generally retouch your photos up, all that sort of stuff. This is a good example. Yeah, same photo. They also fixed kind of like the parallax of the photo too. So if your photographer didn't get a really good angle, then they can kind of fix that for you. So just no box brownie. All this is in links, and we're gonna put this on what's it called? Backagent. Okay. Let's skip this amenities maps for now and just briefly talk about Facebook, Instagram, and Nextdoor advertising. So I think everybody should have a Facebook ad account. If you have a Facebook page, get a Facebook ad account associated with that. If for any reason you don't want to have a Facebook page, or for many of you, we'll have that discussion about, oh, I don't know that it's right to start right now. Wait until you get in the habit of kind of peppering in some real estate stuff on your Facebook, and then we'll start you a Facebook page. But if you have a Facebook page, go out like Martha and Renita and Jenny and Becky and Drew and Marianne and Rick and Lauren, and have your own ad account, and Rhonda, and have your own. How come yours isn't showing up for me? That's odd. And what that does is basically, like right now, if Wendy has one too. I was just listing the ones that are right here. So that means that whenever they tell you you can boost, then it's just a click of a button for you to boost your posts or whatever. So let's go to a Boulevard Realty post and just say we wanted to boost it. So I went through the steps of setting up my Facebook page. I posted my listing on there, my HAR profile listing or just whatever. And then I don't know why more of us don't do this. But let's just take 2904 Morrison R, because it doesn't just have to be for your listings. Remember, you can also use this as a way to try to pick up some buyers or just look like you're very serious in the real estate game. Take this HAR, public property page, and then question mark equals CID equals, what's your public login or public ID? L Hanks. Make it presented by you. Take this onto your Facebook page. There are many, many, many different ways to advertise on Facebook to like actually get to the advertising section, but I just think for most of us, boosting is going to be the best option.
Boosting is the easiest and quickest. There's a
Yeah.
difference between boosting a post and running an ad. Boosting is just boosting. You can't really target boosting, can you?
You can. So that's what we're going to do right now. You can, but then it just gets to be really complicated or whatever.
You think boosting is better?
I don't think it's better for someone like you who can kind of navigate their way through the ad manager and go through the steps and everything like that. But if you're new to it, or you just want to promote an open house, or you just want something quick and easy, it's like, oh, I forgot to get this
Maybe
going
too
earlier
late
in the
to
week.
do
It's
it.
Saturday morning. I would just boost it. So paste in your link. Say, come see me at my.
We're going to pick up with these ads when they're searching things more than we're going to pick up a boosted ad.
Yeah.
But if you do want to just get it out in front of more people quickly, boost is the
Yeah. Exactly.
it's really start.
I'd love to schedule a private tour, or something like that, right? And then post it. I'm just doing this on the Boulevard Facebook right now. Send preview with button. Let's do preview with button. This send message. The advantages to having it on your Facebook page is that then all of the action kind of comes straight to you, because people interact with Facebook posts in a number of different ways. And so this didn't do exactly what I wanted it to. So if you do it on the Boulevard Realty page, just because you don't have one, Allison did her 1448 Arlington ads on the Boulevard Realty page. then like if somebody messages Boulevard Realty about that listing, then we got to somehow get it to Allison. Somebody did comment. I remember this now. Somebody commented and they were like, what's the price? Because we didn't give them a price. It wasn't on the MLS. And then we have to say, hey, Allison Hartzell will give you the answer. So just call or text her. And we gave the email and the phone number or something like that. So if you think you might want to start going on these Facebook ads, and I would start to do that.
I'm sorry. What did you type in? Equal question mark?
Question mark CID equals your public ID. Question mark CID equals public ID.
So if I just go like on a listing, like a Boulevard listing, and type in question mark CID equal A Hartzell.
If you go to a listing, yeah, then it says presented by Allison Hartzell off to the side. And then if somebody says like request more information, that comes to you as a HAR lead.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be platinum for that to be true. You do have to be platinum for that to be true. I got distracted. I'm just not good at multitasking today. No, it's all me. So, you paste your link or whatever, right? Hi, come see me. I'm actually posting this on the page right now. Share, let it post. Then you go boost. So a couple of different options you have. Again, we're assuming you're on your own page. I like learn more. That just clicks you through to the link. That's all it really does. Send message is you want them to engage with you on Messenger. I think that's a perfectly fine thing to do. A lot of people, they do want to on Facebook. I don't know about the quality of the leads, but a very common behavior on Facebook is to message with the listing agent and say, what's the price and everything like that, as if they picked up the phone. And then it's up to you to try to keep them engaged or whatever. So this whole targeting sort of thing. Once you boost, you come into edit. And all I really want us to take away today are the ways you can target people. Not necessarily remembering the steps, because there are so many tutorials that you can watch on actually like starting a Facebook ad manager account and everything. So I just want us to think about the ways we can target. So last week, Rhonda talked a little bit about what, I'm having such a hard time focusing today, sorry. Rhonda talked about the ways you can kind of envision who is the buyer for this property. And then you go into Facebook and you get to choose that. So we used to have a lot of options for, household income between $100,000 and $250,000. Facebook has taken away a lot of these options. So let's just kind of go through what the detailed targeting looks like right now. I wouldn't get so hyper-focused on eliminating people because you think you have this great idea of who the buyer is, because you don't want to exclude anybody greatly. So like 21 to 65, I don't know that if I had a house just because it's $1.6 million that I would change it to 45 or something like that, because we see plenty of these buyers for Bill's $1.4 million listings who are like 20 something years old. And so something like the age, I would just kind of be a little loosey-goosey with it, honestly. This is where the real targeting kind of comes in. There's a couple of things you could do. This little box right here, this Omni box, is for demographics, interests, behaviors. I always start with the easy kind of housing stuff. So one of the interests, for example, is Zillow. I always choose Zillow, not as employer. You see it off to the side. It was interest and whatever, because what that means is that Facebook's taking data from people who are out looking at houses on Zillow right now, and they know exactly who those people are, and so they are going to show them your ads when they happen to be on Facebook. No, on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. So Zillow is one that I always do. I think Realtor.com is one. Let's see. Yeah, Realtor.com is one. I just always do these housing kind of topics or whatever. Trulia is definitely one, yeah. Add in my Trulia, blah, 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 blah. Already, Facebook is telling me, your audience selection is too specific. Truly, and again, kind of keep in mind too, there's some of these things that Facebook has a lot of data on real estate agents. And so you don't want to choose targeting that's really meant for real estate agents. So like do this Trulia as an interest, because that means, again, people who have been to Trulia.com to look at homes and everything, but don't do this Premier Agent Trulia Zillow thing, because that's to the people who have been looking at the Premier Agent, you know, kind of advertising product for Trulia. What's up, Mark? Not all neighborhoods are in there as an interest. Like Houston Heights is not, but if you'll see in the locations, we put Houston Heights as our location. And what that does is it targets people who have been in the Heights recently or come here frequently. Facebook is pretty sure they work here or they live here. And so we tend to always do this kind of, you know, Houston Heights plus 1 mile or something, because if they're already out shopping for houses, we would assume they come every weekend or something like that. And that's those people are included.
Do you know whether or not they look at, like, check in a certain area?
They do look at if you check in a certain area, if you say yes to events in the area, that sort of thing. And notice that this uses, you know, kind of Google data or whatever, Google Map data. They still have Houston Heights as its own distinct kind of place. So, you know, you could do Houston and drop a pin, or you could do Houston Heights and go out 1.5 miles or whatever. Just a tip or trick is if you drop a pin in like in River Oaks and then go out 7.5 miles, that's basically this inner loop area that we're always talking about. It goes up to Garden Oaks, Oak Forest. It goes as far south as like probably Braes Heights or something like that. River Oaks, 7.5 miles is basically the inner loop. And that, remember, that's the white people inner loop where we exclude everything east of or Eastwood, right? So we're not talking about Denver Harbor or anything like that, but we're including Spring Branch East, you know? So that's your location targeting. Then the interest, I mean, you could do, let's say we have a listing, what are we talking about? 2904 Morrison. So we could do like parks and green space, right? So, or let's do trails, because one of the things you can then do is in your ad, since you're targeting people who are interested in hiking trails, and you can get multiple ads going for one listing, right? Then you really play up the, you know, less than 1 minute jog away from the White Oak Bayou Greenway, which you can take all the way through downtown, or which you can take all the way up to, you know, through Oak Forest along White Oak Bayou or something like that. Now the demographics are a little different these days. So Cynthia kind of has a running Facebook ad or a running Facebook audience for her listings, and she does kind of demographics, education. You know, she's just kind of narrowing down her audience a little bit, and she's experimented a lot with her audiences, and so this gives her the best result. A little discriminatory, but she does college grad, doctorate degree. I think that's really it, is what she does for the education targeting. You can still do some financial targeting or whatever. I think these days it's income. Let's see what we got as we go farther down. Okay, this is the way they do it now. Is we're not excluding people based on the amount of money they make. We're saying they're in the top 25 to 50% of US zip codes, whatever, same thing. Top 10% of US zip codes, blah, blah, blah. As you add in these kind of targeting things, you see this little specific broad kind of audience selection thing. Again, I think if you're really advertising a house in Houston, you can make some good guesses about who that buyer is, but give yourself some space, right? I think this potential reach of 6,000 people is very narrow. And so what happens is that even if I decide I want to spend $1,000 on this ad for 2904 Morrison, then if the audience just isn't there and they're not getting on Facebook in the time frame that you have the budget, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to spend all that money. And so you could find, oh, your audience is too narrow. You're only going to really end up having spent $10 out of your budget or whatever, and then it defeats the whole purpose of your advertising. So I would really, follow Facebook's advice and kind of stay in this middle range of your audience, in the green, I guess. Lots of different ways you can go and target or whatever. I would just get in and play around with it. So to get started on your, let's just assume you already have a Facebook page. I guess we can run through this really quickly. So, this is where you set your budget, do it for a couple of days. If you're doing it for an open house, start on a Thursday, run through Sunday, a couple of hours after the open house, something like that. The default's in Pacific time. Just keep that in mind. I can't really figure out how to change that. I'm going to cancel, close, and delete this. Okay. So assuming you already have a Facebook page, then to go in and manage or create ads and set up your ad account, go to this Create Ads button and just walk through the steps. You're going to have to connect a credit card. It's going to ask you some, questions about, your business or whatever. But this is how you would go about getting started with that Create Ad account. Once you create that ad account, a good thing to do is to go into your ad account and add me, because all of the Facebook advertising that we do on y'all's behalf is done through my Facebook or whatever. So go into your Facebook ad account. This could be really valuable. I think this is time well spent, actually. Go to billing, ads manager, this little hamburger toggle, billing, and oh, so many steps. Maybe it's billing, go all tools and settings. I'm sorry, it's settings. And then go add people. And then add me as an ad account admin or advertiser. Just do admin, probably, in case we ever want to help you with your audiences or whatever. But that allows me and Frank and Rhonda to go in and run ads for you and automatically charge you and all that sort of stuff, or have it run out of your thing, your billing account. So Facebook advertising, the great thing about Facebook advertising is that it is Instagram advertising too. And so I think a good person for Instagram advertising who's not a Boulevard agent is Thebe Warren, Thebe with John Doherty. She does a really good job these days of just got a listing, goes and boosts it, and then I see hers, why, I don't know, but I see hers more on Instagram than I see them on Facebook. So just know that as you go through the steps of creating your Facebook ad, you're also creating an Instagram advertisement. And what happens whenever people click on those Instagram ads is that it just takes them to the Facebook business page or whatever, the public side. Another thing that you're doing whenever you do these Facebook and Instagram ads, I don't want us to just think about it as Facebook and Instagram, is it targets these Facebook users in the AdSense network, which is, I always use the example of Huffington Post because they have a lot of ads on their site. Then it's also running your ads off to the side there. It shows 1 or 2 pictures of the house, and if you click through, it just takes you again to the Facebook business page. So if you're using Facebook advertising to either get a listing or to keep a listing or something like that, you can tell them I'm going to do Facebook ads. And let's just say that your client's like, I don't care, I don't use Facebook. Do you really think the buyer's coming from there? You can say, well, it's also going on Instagram. They probably don't care about that either. But then it goes across various news sites. Not the Chronicle, that's not quite one of them. Again, Huffington Post is an example. Let's see, a lot of I don't know, blogs kind of have them. It's just anything that's in the AdSense network, which is a lot of media companies. Some of the magazines do, like a Glamour magazine or Allure magazine or something like that. So you can just tell them that you're running this digital ad campaign that's going to show up at a couple of different places online based on targeting that you've set. That's all we're really trying to accomplish today. Nextdoor has a wonderful advertising feature. And to do that, you also have to go through the steps of setting up your real estate profile on Nextdoor. Okay, so and Nextdoor's it's pretty cheap, but the reach is less because remember Nextdoor you're always limited to your own neighborhood, right? So let's just hope that you live in the Heights if you're marketing a Heights listing. Susan, you know, right now she has her 3131 Lafayette. She should go run a Nextdoor ad because that's, you know, covering her area anyway. And she lives, you know, half a mile away or something like that. So you get logged into Nextdoor. We think everybody should just be on Nextdoor anyway. I don't get on Nextdoor every day and check all the stuff that's going on, but you get, whenever you sign up for Nextdoor, you get this nice daily digest email. So you can skip past the, you know, cat stuck in a tree and all that sort of stuff, and then get to the stuff that you really care about, like what's happening with Happy All Cafe or, you know, resolution on affordable housing at council today, like that sort of stuff. So be on Nextdoor if you're a real estate agent, and then go set up your real estate agent profile. So once you have your real estate agent profile, which is very easy and it is free, that gives you the ability to then, once you're in your, you know, real estate agent site or whatever, this is where you do these neighborhood sponsorships. So Mark and Becky are a neighborhood sponsor now for 77008. Boulevard Realty is a sponsor for 77008, 77009, and 77005. All that really does is help you show up more so that people can kind of like organically recommend and review you. So Boulevard Realty, I happen to be in Bill's Nextdoor, which is linked to our Kirby office, and my Nextdoor is linked to the Heights office or whatever. So if you go to Nextdoor and click on your reputation for Boulevard Realty, you'll see that we're the #1 real estate agent in the Heights. We're the most recommended real estate agent in the Heights. That's got to be good for something. Technically, you can capture leads off of your sponsored neighborhood thing, but those are very few and far between. I think it's going to be really good for Mark and Becky. I don't know that it's been the best for Boulevard Realty just because we're just advertising the firm. And so all it does is really keep us ranked higher. Yeah.
What's $30 sponsored?
Oh my God, now it's like $400. Yeah.
And now it's $400?
It depends on the neighborhood. But 77008 is like $400 something, I want to say, a month. Yeah, that goes into my calculation. I just don't think that's the thing to do. Nextdoor is going to try selling you on it. I do think their prices are going to adjust. So Nextdoor grew very fast, and they're not doing a very good job of kind of managing their kind of advertising infrastructure or anything like that. They have this weird thing where they can't reset my password. Anyway, so that's not really what I talk about as sponsorship, but these listings. The listing promotion is pretty good. So you're going to go to listings, and there's an initial time period. So we already got it set up with Nextdoor. I think, you know, this time last year, Mark and Becky may have been interested in promoting Boulevard Realty's listings or their own listings. But we had to set up a special feed with Nextdoor, which we've done now. So all you have to do is you're going to go to this listing section, find one of your listings one time. I almost accidentally connected Jim's listings to Bill's account earlier today. But you do that one time, and then that, you know, establishes your feed from HAR into Nextdoor. And then you choose which of these listings you really want to boost. Let's see. Yeah, all your listings show up here. Then you select your plan for marketing listings. I think this is a pretty good investment. To have one listing a month is less than $20. That's really if you pay it all at 1 year in advance. If you pay every 6 months, it's, you know, $20 or whatever. So we're talking 200 something a month. I mean, 200 something one time to be guaranteed to be able to advertise one listing, you know, a month, basically. I think it's pretty good because what really happens is as people are out browsing on Nextdoor, then your kind of featured listing shows up. If you enter an open house into HAR, it automatically gets entered into Nextdoor. So that form of kind of open house promotion is already there for you. They do show up in the e-blasts that I was talking about, those daily digests from Nextdoor. Then here, let's look at one. Nextdoor post is typically the headline. So this is today, serious pervert at Children's Park. That's why I don't go to Nextdoor. That's the top story for today. I don't know which park it was.
Shopping, that does catch your eye.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I froze a little bit. Oh, I froze a little bit. Anyway, the point is, it shows up at the top of these, daily digest emails or whatever.
Your listing does?
It gets in the running. It's not guaranteed to, but it gets in the running. And the reality is, they probably target different people. Probably see different ads. So it's not like just because I'm in Houston Heights East. That doesn't mean that, somebody who's in Bill, who's in Woodland Heights, or somebody who's in Houston Heights West sees the same ad or whatever.
I think it does do it geographically. I get Merrill listing.
You
all
do?
the time.
You get the 535 Merrill listing or whatever?
And now I'm getting the Northwood. It's not our listing. Both of those.
How interesting. And I guess another reality of this too is that you, for the emails, remember that's not all you're getting. You're seeing the ad whenever you're browsing too. But for the emails, they do rotate with other advertisers, and only certain people can advertise on Nextdoor or whatever. So I think because we don't have a recent ad running in Bill's account, they do show you the kind of statistics on who's clicked and everything like that, but I just don't really happen to have any of these ads running right now. Just know there's a way to advertise listings on Nextdoor. It's pretty cheap. You will have some kind of statistics to be able to show your seller, and it's pretty easy to do. Now another listing option that we've never done before. Yeah.
If you were doing like an event, something in a neighborhood, would you
Yeah.
be able to?
You can. Well, no. If you're going to do an event, go and put it on Nextdoor. I would say that. Like Rose's Mother's Day market that she's going to have in a couple of weeks, anybody can do that as a neighbor of or as a resident. Absolutely. And Nextdoor loves events, and so they always put the events near the top. But if you're going to do something like your happy hour you did, or Rose's Mother's Day market, or Jenny's home buying seminar, I would put that on Nextdoor. And Eventbrite, I don't want to go on too much of a tangent on the kind of branding events or whatever. But yes, if you are going to have a broker open house, technically you could go put that. You could have put your 1448 Arlington open house on Nextdoor.
They really frown on it.
They really frown on it, and
they won't.
Because your neighbors will complain.
Any business advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, like a class or something that Jenny would hold would be different. The Mother's Day market is not considered a business development issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll pull you off and they'll call you out on it.
Because the neighbors will report you. And then another thing is, same thing is true for, I think everybody should be in the business of using Nextdoor and checking it for the things that kind of are related to real estate. And I think Rhonda does this, and Kathleen does this a little bit too. You go in and you kind of softly send the message that you're a resource by commenting useful things,
Like
and not,
driveway fence.
and not getting in any fights. But if you ever say, I would love to list your home when you get done with the remodel or something like that, people don't like that. You'll get yanked for that too. So you just kind of softly send the message. Kathleen goes on there and does property tax protests, really not even for marketing herself. She just likes doing it. So she goes and she always, tax, whatever, this time of year, she's going to go in and she's going to say, hey, anybody needs help protesting their taxes, let me know, and I'll run comps for you. But she doesn't say, and I'd love to, if you have anybody who's looking to buy or sell a home, please, think of me. So Nextdoor too. We'll talk very briefly about this Chronicle on the market thing because I'm looking for some people who are willing to experiment and invest in this because we've never tried it ourselves. But the Chronicle has a new targeted listing promotion. It's a digital product that gives you 1 week of advertising across all of the Chronicle's channels. So native article. And I'll show you some examples. A Chron.com native ad, which is most people who are not subscribers to the Chronicle, all these things that get circulated online, they actually come from Chron.com and not the HoustonChronicle.com because that is their advertising site or whatever. And so they place you an article about your listing or a little write-up about your listing on there too. They do a Facebook video ad. That doesn't mean you have to have a video. They go and they create a little slideshow for you. And the Chronicle is very good at this. And then a featured property print listing in the home section, just a little tiny, 1-line ad and a photo. So if anybody is remotely interested in trying this out, again, I don't know that I recommend it or not, but you need at least 4 homes. You could do up to 6. And then let's say you're going in with a couple of agents and the thing is you'll have to do it all at one time. And the listings have to be pretty close together. So at some point, we'll just see who's interested in going in the Heights. But you get all this sort of stuff for, let's call it $600 a listing. So you'd probably be very discriminating in what listing you use it for, and you would want to make sure that you're going in with people who y'all share the rough, same demographics, because the Chronicle's digital department or whatever helps you with the targeting. So we'll go through what the Chronicle says the results are, whether this is true or not, and an example. So it looks like somebody at Bernstein had a listing that they wanted to spend $600 on, and then it shakes out to an ad that looks basically like this. On the market memorial, a little write-up about the neighborhood. They put the listing in right here. This lives on Chron.com forever. They put in there 5 homes. Let's see what the price is just for kicks. So 5 agents at Bernstein split the $3,000 cost to do this blog and all the Facebook rigmarole and everything like that over 1 week. They say they got 204,881 impressions, 663 page views just on this site, 6 minutes on the article, which is a really long time for something like this. The average time somebody spends reading a Culture Map article is like 90 seconds. So this is pretty good. Again, untested by us. They say all these wonderful things about, oh, it ran for a week and then, the listing was under contract the next week or something like that. Just don't know if it's true. I think it's actually over here. The Facebook ad looks like this. Did they give me a click-through rate? No, they didn't. I'll ask. I'm curious. I would ask a lot more questions before we would ever do this. I had my ad blocker on. So y'all aren't selling me a house on Facebook because I'm not seeing it. So let's refresh. Yeah, anybody's interested in trying this, let me know. I think that we should try it this spring as we put on a bunch of good, new, fresh inventory. I do think that we should give it a try. But they do all of this for you on the market, in the Heights, Boulevard Realty, we'll just imagine. Slideshow of the homes, whatever. So the magic is probably not, I think this presentation value is pretty good, but the magic is probably not, in what it looks like, but they're high level of targeting, right? And then remember, the Chronicle uses all this great Hearst media data, and they go out and buy, and they're one of the largest big data buyers. So they get even more specific than even a Facebook can, because they have your info on your Google searches and just everything. And that's who they're targeting this to, not just based on your Facebook behavior or whatever. So Houston Chronicle promotions, blah, blah, blah. They say this sells houses. We just don't know if it's true. Okay. So let me know if you're interested in trying that. In the 14 minutes we have left, let's talk about this creating amenities maps, because I actually think this is more valuable. So I think that we should all probably get a little more comfortable using those of us who have Gmail accounts. And remember, if you have a Boulevard email, you have a Gmail account, even if you use hotdog2@sbcglobal.net as your email, that you could use for some of these tools or whatever. But Google Maps gives you the ability to create your own custom maps, okay? And I'm not saying you use these as the marketing tool, but this at least helps you kind of wrap your head around how you're going to market a listing as you're putting together your plan that Rhonda went over last week. So you go to maps.google.com. Go to this little hamburger toggle, go to your places, then maps. Then this gives you the opportunity to create your own custom map, okay? So a lot of the maps that I use for, I don't know, different things are just these custom Google Maps. We used one for the Heights Dry area. We used them whenever we were trying to show Planning Commission how against the hotel at 402 Columbia we were. All of the Heights neighborhood guide map that I made for y'all is just a custom Google map. But I don't see any reason why you can't use one of these to start to wrap your head around how you're going to market a listing. So who's got a listing they want to market?
Me.
All right, Lauren, what's the address? 935 Yale. So let's just get started. 935 Yale, home for sale in Houston Heights. I would put in some description. This great home on bustling Yale Street is just blocks away from great stuff like Heights Central Station. Blah, 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 blah. And put in, while you're at it, not saying this is exactly how we should use this, but just since we're already going down this road. It's not active yet. It is 935 Yale Har. For sale. It's this one, street or unit B or whatever. Link in here under your description. Check it out. Okay. So let's just say, let's call this 935 Yale amenities. And so let's just center ourselves right around here, 935 Yale. You search for an address just like you would if you're looking for directions or something like that. Then go add to map. You can change your little icon here to something cute like a house and make it red so it stands out. And then Lauren, what do you think are the biggest selling points for this location? Walkability, right? So where would you go to? You got, okay, let's do Postino. Let's add Postino to the map. We got a kolache shop. Let's add this to the map. Yeah, it's a tiny little gray add to map or whatever. Then we have, say that again? 8 Row Flint.
Well, it sounds like there's, see, that's already on there, 8 Row Flint.
Mm-hmm.
So it already populates some of this stuff and you just add to it or highlight it?
Adds to it, and I'll tell you how we really will end up using this potentially. So currently what we do is we, somebody says, oh, I have this new listing coming up in Cottage Grove. I want to put all these these things on a map or whatever. And so Thomas comes up with a nice, pretty map, but it's just like a piece of paper. And I'm just not convinced that that's gonna keep someone engaged. So I want us to get more comfortable coming up with these digital maps and then creating interactive kind of content out of this is ultimately my goal.
Can you show me how we
Oh, maps.
I'm trying to keep up.
This is.
You're already like,
I'm gonna slice it up into just this section, and I'll send you that link after we get done. Yes.
So
yes, yes.
when you do this map and you put your cursor over anything, does it show a picture of the?
It does on the finished product of the map. Yes. whenever somebody clicks on something, it'll pull up the actual, it would take me a while to get to sharing it and everything. But yes, it shows you whatever listings 8 Row Flint has in their Google business listing, right? So, I'm sorry? So you can take off Tiff's treats because you just don't want it there. But again, I'm going to show you how we'll really end up using this map, okay? Say that again. Why not? I like Tiff's treats. Another thing you could do is, let's think outside the box here. Greenwood, but it won't show up on the finished product. Another thing you could do is, yeah, right? Best walks near 935 Yale. Oops, near. So watch this. I'm at 935 Yale, which, where did it go? Where'd the little house go? Oh, it's farther south. Okay. So I would say, you know, this is how I would walk to Postino. And I would get my little draw line, add walking route. And I would do, you know, let's just say, God, nobody wants to cross over to Yale. Let's,
Go to the corner. You don't have to go.
I don't want to do that. I guess I would just go, you know, whatever, like this, get on the trail, then just do blah, 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 walk yourself down the trail. Wait, where'd it go? I'm going to Postino. Y'all are drunk. Y'all are drunk. Oh, did I pass Postino? Yeah, I think we're all losing it here.
You got pulled over by
The constables. I got the constables, yeah. And you go to Better Luck Tomorrow or just whatever. So adding the walking route is one way. I just experimented with that and it was really confusing, so I don't like that. So I'm going to delete it. Just stop.
You're everywhere now.
Okay, I'm not doing this anymore. What I want to do instead is my comfort zone is add a layer, best walk, whatever. And then it's, instead of doing this add walking route, it's add line or shape. Oh, geez. Just losing it today. So go. Yes, exactly. Which one? What are we talking about?
Okay, there was a point in time last year that we had the Google map with the property, and it was simple. I think people, the normal people out there, the average, I think, they like simplicity.
Okay.
So, and the Google map with point of interest and a list of things with by name. I think that's perfect. Right?
That's exactly what we're doing though, right?
Okay.
So you add your line, whatever, you finish it, then you can make it all nice and pretty or whatever. I'm just trying to get us to think about marketing the listings in these ways. I don't really care about you going in and doing it, but I want to show you the finished product or whatever. So you go in, you add in your points of interest. You share this map with marketing@yourblvd.com. So then, because what happens is that Thomas turns these into these really pretty maps that have these nice, you know, icons and the colors and everything's all nice and organized or whatever, right? Because you've given us the selling points and we can then just go make it pretty. And then let's go. We go in and we, you know, download all of that map data. And we end up with something like this. Now, Leslie didn't do the map for this. We did it for her, whatever, but then we just turned right around and added it. And then what it gives you is a map like this that doesn't show Greenwood King. We just happen to have a listing in Cypresswood at this period in time, where not crazy about this, but we were focusing on the job centers here and the amenities or whatever. We didn't put in a description at that time in the markers themselves, but we kind of listed it all right here. Okay. So this is kind of like, instead of just printing some map where you have like Target and whatever, just narrow it down to the places that you really think somebody who's looking at the house that you really want to stay in their minds or whatever. And then it becomes so much easier to do a little write-up about them because we just steal a lot of the Google Map description or whatever, which is public domain basically. Yeah. So I just want us to think about marketing the listing in these ways. I don't want you to have to go and stress over making these maps or anything like that. But I do think that, you know, a good thing to do whenever you have a listing is to go in and create a map so that you can start to look around and really wrap your head around it. Like, I really want to focus on 8 Row Flint with this listing. You know, I want to focus on the Kolache shop and Shine and everything like that and get cute with it. You know, next time you have a hair appointment, make it at Shine Salon, or, you know, this next dentist appointment, you can schedule at Floss Dental or whatever it is. It's Heights Central Station or something like that. Or, you know, your next family pictures will be at the little baby gazebo at Cohen Plaza or something like that, just to kind of paint a picture. And I think just you having the ability to go in and create the map helps you wrap your head around that. Because, I mean, all real estate agents who try to market their listings using location, at a certain point, it all starts to sound the same. You know what I mean? We're better at it than most firms, but like, every real estate agent in Houston's listing is close to the Galleria and downtown and the Med Center somehow. I just don't want us to be like that. I want us to be hyper local. And if you can create like your own little custom walking trail or hike and bike trail or whatever, I would do it for your listing. Yeah, you can put it in as one of the listing website links. You could do that. And you could even, you make it public. And so you can make it like a little marketing tool and have the HAR link and homes for sale and everything like that. Google likes to put up at the top of results its own products. And so if you have something like this, if somebody drives by and sees 935 Yale sign and they Google it, that would conceivably come up higher than the realtor.com listing and all that sort of stuff. And so people just see, oh, this is pretty cool. You know what I mean? And you could put it on HAR by just putting a public map link or whatever. Okay. I would put it in as a listing website link. Who knows? Maybe if we put it in as like a video or a virtual tour link, maybe we'd get caught or something like that. But property website is fine. Perfectly fine. Okay, so let's see. Do we care about anything else? We're out of time anyway. Y'all know about our eBlast, so I'll just talk about that briefly. I just think these days with eBlast, you got to have something unique to say. I use Allison's example of 1448 Arlington because she got a lot of people at that open house somehow. It wasn't even on the market. And you had probably 30 people over the course of 2 days or something like that. And the house sold because it's at the corner of, you know, 15th and Arlington. And because that's not what I meant, Allison. But I'm not claiming that it's has anything to do with this eBlast or just whatever. But we gave them something a little different than just listed or, you know, whatever, just reduced. She baked fresh cookies right in the oven in the kitchen. And so it gave people something to do, you know, or something to see that was a little different. So it wasn't on the MLS. We did a little eBlast to our good, reliable Heights broker open list that we send anyway. We did do something kind of clever in this. I don't know that you want to do this all the time, but we wanted agents to share this with their clients. So we created, just like I did with 2904 Morrison listing, I went and I took all of those Heights agents' public IDs and I created the, hang on. That's odd. MailChimp's funny about that. Cookies is just what I'll search. So we took, you know how HAR creates a property page for every property anyway, right? Even if it just shows the tax value or whatever. So we took that to create a little digital flyer. We added on the agent's public ID onto the end. And then we merge that into, Elio's not a good example because he's not a member of HAR anymore. Donna, yeah, Donna's a good one. And we tacked on their own public ID to encourage them to send this to their buyers and get them to the house, right? So not everybody, but like 2,000 people who got this e-blast, then they had their own flyer for it. So we would encourage them to bring a buyer. So if we're going to do something for an e-blast, I just want us to think a little bit outside the box. Every single one we send, we lose 20 subscribers. And I just go a year and I wait a year and then I just go take them back and start violating all kinds of, marketing rules by just putting them to another list. But I just want us to, think outside the box a little bit with our e-blast or whatever. Last thing, because I know we're out of time, is when Francis every Friday sends you these e-blast reports, I just want to make sure everybody knows those are really for your feedback. If you've invested the time into baking the cookies and having the open house and all that sort of stuff, that's really what these are for. So if you send an e-blast, whether it's for a broker open or anything like that, you get these campaign reports. And what you have to do is, unfortunately, we have to password protect them. So we put them on, Horsepower. Those of you who are doing the joysticks thing, you get these, 2 or whatever. The password's always Horsepower. But this is really for you to then, tell your seller, hey, I sent an e-blast, about this event that I had. I sent it to how many people? That's who sent it. Yes. Now we had looped them into a segment or whatever. So I sent it to 1,291 people. 25% opened it. 331 opened it. Who clicked? Let's see. 9 clicked. It's kind of weird. Out of these people who opened it, if you really want to get this kind of creepy and granular with it, Andre is really me. That's not Andre. He lives in Chicago now. But you could say like Amy, the Zebra Realtor or whatever, opened it. You can typically see whenever somebody opens it multiple times. Did I not do that? Yeah. So Ronald Espinosa with Remax Center Loop, he opened this 16 times. So he may be really interested in this listing for some reason.
So weird, so much information.
And that's when they forward it too. That's when they forward it to their buyers or whatever. So we have in the past, I don't know if this gets us anywhere, Vicki Evans opened it 15 times. That's great. I think Vicki Evans could have a buyer for this. So it gets kind of creepy, but you could conceivably send a follow-up email to Vicki Evans and just say, hey, thank you for reading. No, not thank you for reading. We typically just say, yeah, exactly. Let's just go, yeah, let's just say that. So that's how we intend for you to use these campaign reports. It's just for your seller feedback to say, this is who I sent it to. This is how I target it. Send them an example of the email, which I think most of us are pretty good about doing anyway. But I just don't want to, so you'll want to see a Compass e-blast. They look like this. And I just think they're just boring. I mean, they're supposed to be a, this great real estate marketing company. Oh, I sent it from Bill. That's right. So let's go.
I think you're right. If you say with those reverse look up, email that I get from the realtors.
Yeah.
I think for HAR, like, I don't know, you guys, what do you think of those?
Say that again. Oh, the reverse prospecting. I think the reverse prospecting is so new that I think people are kind of interested in it.
I think it's so automated that, I mean, are they really thinking about it when they come to you, or it's just like,
It doesn't
oh,
matter.
right, but if I am interested in that house, when I do my search, it's automated, it will point to my search.
Right. I automatically delete these things, so I can't pull up an example. But anyway, the Compass e-blasts are really boring. They're just like zip your flyer, kind of typical deal. They take great photos of their agents. So if you want to go work for Compass for like a week to get a really good headshot, then that would be something to do. But it's just like the agent playing with her dog or whatever. But then it's just your typical, just like the John Doherty ones. 3 pictures of the house, bedrooms, baths, and then whatever descriptions on the MLS. I just don't think that we're doing your sellers a service by sending stuff like that or sending a bunch of those. Just there's a reason that we'll say, hey, if you've already sent an e-blast, do a Facebook ad instead or whatever, because the only way they're effective is if they offer something different. Allison got great feedback on her e-blast or whatever. So that's how we want y'all to think about e-blast. Okay, we're going to chunk this up into little videos and put them on Backagent as different topics. I know we covered a lot really quickly, and so the goal is that you just have this for reference in the future whenever it comes time for your listing, okay? Or for your next listing. All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, good stuff.
All right.